About a week or so ago, I made my Calder Trophy power rankings for the 2020-21 NHL season, so it was pretty much just my top 10 favorites for the award. Now, there is still a lot of top prospects that could be making the jump to the NHL this upcoming season that I left out of my power rankings. I think it could be a really good year for rookies, so I wanted to follow up my power rankings video by doing my Calder Trophy dark horses for this upcoming season, so I wouldn't consider the prospects that we're going to talk about in today's video favorites, more so long shots, but definitely still guys that I think have the potential to get their name into the Calder Trophy conversation. Before we go any further, be sure to go follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you guys want to talk hockey somewhere other than YouTube. Links to those will be down below in the description. And of course, if you guys are new to this channel and you want to see more NHL content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And with all that out of the way, let's get into 7 dark horse candidates for the 2021 NHL Calder Trophy. Starting the video off, my first dark horse candidate, Ilya Sorokin, goaltender prospect for the New York Islanders. He was a 3rd round pick, 78th overall by them back in the 2014 draft. Now, I saw a lot of comments on my power rankings video asking where Ilya Sorokin was, since I had Igor Shesterkin ranked so high. My reasoning for not having Sorokin in my top 10 is because we have yet to see him play a single NHL game. Of course, that is the case with the majority of prospects, guys that were just drafted obviously haven't played a single NHL game, but for goaltenders, I feel like that's a lot more important. I think the Islanders are really just going to ease Sorokin into things, because remember, they still have Semyon Varlamov, who's going to be their starter when the season starts, so I don't necessarily know how many games Sorokin is going to play, but just based off of the numbers he's put up in the KHL, over the past 5-6 seasons, I knew I had to at least have him in this dark horse candidates video. The lowest save percentage Sorokin has put up in a KHL season since 2014-15 is a 929. The highest he put up was a 953 in the 2015-16 season. Now, granted, high save percentages are a lot more common in the KHL, but still, those are ridiculous numbers, especially since this upcoming season is going to be a shortened season. Let's say Varlamov has an off couple of games and then Sorokin gets a shot. If he gets hot and goes on a run, he could definitely get himself into the Calder Trophy talks. I just have him as a dark horse because I don't know how many games the Islanders are going to play him in right away. The next dark horse candidate I have is prospect Alex Turcot, a centerman for the Los Angeles Kings, their 5th overall pick from the 2019 draft. Just had a pretty solid season for the University of Wisconsin, putting up 26 points in 29 games, finishing 3rd on the team in scoring. Pretty much the biggest reason why I didn't have Alex Turcot in my top 10 power rankings is because I had 2 other LA Kings prospects in my top 10, both centermen in Gabriel Vilardi and Quinton Byfield. It's going to be really interesting to see, out of those 3 prospects, Byfield, Turcot, and Vilardi, which one is going to step up and take on the biggest role for the Kings this upcoming season. My money's on it being Vilardi. If you watch my power rankings video, you would know that. Do all 3 of these prospects make the Kings right away? You look at their center depth, it's Kopitar, and then it's wide open. You got these 3 guys. You also have Elias Anderson, who's going to be in there trying to compete for a spot. Ideally, you probably don't want one of your rookies playing 4th line center minutes, so maybe one of Turcot, Vilardi, or Byfield starts out on the wing. Who knows? There's a lot of question marks with this Kings team. They are good question marks though, and one thing that I do know for sure is that the LA Kings are going to be very fun to watch this upcoming season, especially if all of these prospects make the team. Continuing on now, the next dark horse candidate for the Calder Trophy I have is prospect Nick Robertson for the Toronto Maple Leafs, their 2nd round, 53rd overall pick from the 2019 NHL draft. Obviously, Nick Robertson had an incredible 2019-20 season with the Peterborough Petes, 55 goals in just 46 games, 86 points. And then we did get to see a glimpse of him playing in the NHL as he played in the 4 playoff or play-in games for the Maple Leafs against the Blue Jackets. He scored a goal in those 4 games. For the most part, he looked okay, didn't really look out of place. The thing with Nick Robertson is I just don't know if he's going to make the Maple Leafs this upcoming season. There's going to be a lot of internal competition for spots in the Maple Leafs bottom 6, so that's pretty much the biggest reason why I only have Nick Robertson as a dark horse candidate. If he does make the Maple Leafs, I imagine he will put up a decent amount of points. I'm sure he'll get a lot of time on that 2nd power play unit. 5-on-5, he could play with Joe Thornton. That would be pretty fun. I'm really interested to see what the Maple Leafs lineup looks like on opening night. For the most part, we know exactly what the top 6 is going to be. You got Tavares, Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Mikheyev, and Hyman. The question marks are just kind of everywhere else. Moving along now, next up we have Trevor Z Grass, prospect for the Anaheim Ducks, their 9th overall pick in the 2019 draft. Had a fantastic 2019-20 season with Boston University, finished 3rd on the team in scoring with 11 11 goals and 36 points in 33 games. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know why I thought this, but I did. Maybe I was thinking of somebody else, but I thought Trevor Z Grass was going back to Boston University for another year, so that's probably the biggest reason why he wasn't in my top 10. If I would have known he wasn't going back, I probably would have had him in there. I think Z Grass is amazing, and the fact that Anaheim got him 9th overall in that 2019 draft, I feel like they have to be extremely happy with that. The thing is, and I feel like this is kind of the theme with most of these dark horse candidates, I just don't know where he's going to play. I look at the Anaheim Ducks roster right now, and I feel like they already kind of have their 4 centermen. You got Getzlaf, Henrique, Sam Steele, and they brought back Derek Grant, who will probably play 4th line center. Now, Ryan Getzlaf is in the final year of his contract. Part of me wonders if maybe Anaheim should just fully embrace a youth movement and maybe send Ryan Getzlaf somewhere where he can try and compete for one last Stanley Cup before his career winds down. Because the Ducks do have a lot of real solid young forwards. You got Sam Steele, Max Jones, and Troy Terry. I still like Maxime Comtois a lot. And then, of course, Trevor Z Grass. If he comes into camp and shows that he's ready, maybe Anaheim does decide to give him a pretty prominent role right away. Moving along now, next up we have Marco Rossi, the Minnesota Wild's 9th overall pick from this most recent NHL entry draft. He's currently playing over in the Swiss League. Now, to me personally, Marco Rossi might be the biggest wild card out of any of these dark horse candidates, because I could see him not playing in the NHL at all this upcoming season, and then I could also see him like being Minnesota's number 1 centerman, because who even is Minnesota's number 1 centerman right now? Is it Nick Bonino? Marcus Johansson, if they're going to play him at center? If Marco Rossi is ready to play in the NHL, and for me that's the biggest question mark, he's going to get every opportunity not to just make the team, but be one of their top centers. Could you imagine this upcoming season if the Minnesota Wild ice a line of Kirill Kaprizov centered by Marco Rossi and then have Kevin Fiala on the other wing? That would be so fun to watch. If we do see something like that and Marco Rossi is in that type of role, he's going to put up points. That's just what he does. He had 120 in the OHL this past season. Rossi is an amazing playmaker. Kirill Kaprizov is a real good sniper. Kind of seems like a match made in heaven, doesn't it? It would be pretty awesome if we saw Rossi and Kaprizov like battling for the Calder or something while playing on the same line. The next dark horse candidate for the Calder I have is Dillon Cousins, Buffalo's 7th overall pick from the 2019 draft. Cousins played this past season for the Lethbridge Hurricanes in the WHL, put up 85 points in 51 games compared to his 84 and 68 in his draft year. If you were somebody who watched Canada in the previous World Junior Tournament, then you would know Dillon Cousins had a really impressive showing, had 9 points in 7 games. The thing with Cousins is he plays center in the WHL, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, he played wing for the most part in that tournament and looked really good. I wonder if he projects to be a center or a wing at the NHL level. I'm on dailyfaceoff.com right now. It's a website that kind of gives you line projections, and they have Dillon Cousins on the right wing playing with Eric Stahl and Jeff Skinner. If Cousins can come in as soon as this upcoming season and excel in that type of role, that would be huge for Buffalo. I feel like that would really round out their top 9 and give them solid depth, because then one of Olofsson or Reinhart would probably have to be on the 3rd line with like Cody Eakin and then maybe Tage Thompson. I know there's a lot of Buffalo fans out there with some real high expectations and high hopes for Dillon Cousins, and rightfully so. He looks like a great prospect. Hopefully it's just not another Casey Middlestat type of thing though. And now for the final dark horse candidate I have to talk about in today's video, Josh Norris, prospect for the Ottawa Senators. He was actually a 19th overall pick by the Sharks back in 2017, but came to Ottawa as part of the Erik Karlsson trade. Something that Josh Norris really has going for him is the fact that he's already played a full professional season. He spent this past season in the American Hockey League, played 56 games for the Belleville Senators, and in those 56 games, Josh Norris lit it up. He had 31 goals, finished with 61 points, led the team in scoring. He also appeared in 3 games for the Ottawa Senators this past season, was pointless, but it's nice that he has some NHL action under his belt, knows what to expect. I'd imagine he will almost certainly be a full-time NHLer this upcoming season. I could see him having like a 15 goal, 35 to 40 point season, something like that, depending on how many games there are, of course, but there's a realistic chance that maybe Ottawa has 2 players in contention for the Calder Trophy this upcoming season. I had Tim Stützle in my top 10 power rankings. I'm really intrigued to see which one of those guys, has the better rookie season. My money's on Tim Stützle, obviously, that's why I had him in my top 10, but I definitely would not count out Josh Norris. But that is going to do it for today's video. Those are my 7 Calder Trophy dark horses for this upcoming season. So if there's a prospect that wasn't in my power rankings or in this dark horse video, I just don't really see them having that much of a shot at winning the Calder this upcoming season. It seems like every single season there are prospects and rookies that kind of come out of nowhere, so I would expect that to happen again. But for the most part, the names I talked about in my power rankings and in this video are the names I would expect to be in that Calder Trophy conversation. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave it a like. That is the best way to show your support, and let me know down below in the comments section, who do you think is the biggest dark horse for the Calder Trophy? If this is your first time on the channel and you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button for some more NHL content just like this, and I will talk to you all in the next video.